What the heck is the 2025 fiscal cliff? Well, it's a series of high-profile federal spending, revenue, and debt moments that all interact with each other and are tightly connected that Congress and President-elect Trump are going to have to deal with in calendar year 2025. There's 4 parts, plus maybe a little bonus angle, but the first one is the debt limit. The debt limit is currently suspended until January 1st. At that point, there are extraordinary measures that will delay the day of reckoning until June, plus or minus 2 or 3 months. It depends on cash flows and all of that. But Congress has to raise the debt limit as long as they keep borrowing, and they're going to at least for the next couple of years. If they don't, then we would have a default on the federal debt. That would be really bad for the economy, really bad for you and me. Start in the financial sector and then trickle through and hit all of us. So we don't want to have a default. At the same time, a lot of members of Congress are going to want to make sure that the debt limit deal, whatever that is, reduces the threat of default in the future by reducing the risk of a fiscal crisis. Really important stuff. Piece number 2, there won't be the sequester enforcement for the caps on appropriations, which means there's no teeth. Now, appropriations are the 12 discretionary spending appropriations bills that the House and Senate Appropriations Committees approve more or less every year. It's really important. It funds a lot of the activities of the federal government. It's 26% of spending, but it's basically all of the non-transfer programs, and of course some transfer programs are in there as well, but it doesn't include the revenue either. So what Congress will do for the fiscal year 2026 appropriations process that will really get going in the second quarter of calendar year 2025 without enforcement, that's the big question. Part number 3 is the big kahuna. Back in 2017, Congress and then President Trump passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, and a number of those provisions for individuals are due to expire at the end of the year. So December 31st, 2025 is when they would expire. Obviously, Congress should be dealing with that a lot sooner than that. There's about a $4 trillion difference between current policy of the tax cuts being in place and current law if they were to expire. So this is going to be a big challenge for Congress to sort out in what ways and how much and how to offset some portion of that. That's going to be up to Congress. And then the fourth piece is that during the pandemic, there were Obamacare premium tax credits that were significantly expanded, made much more generous, and those are also due to expire at the end of the year, and those actually should expire at the end of the year. Obamacare took a bad system, made it worse. Let's undo some of that. Okay, the wild card, the fifth thing, is this new Department of Government Efficiency to be run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy that President Trump has set up. This is supposed to go through and do a whole bunch of different things, but as far as I can tell, it's going to be a cheerleader for kind of an extension of the bully pulpit for deregulation, for spending cuts, for weeding out low-value spending, and we'll see what else. So that's kind of the wild card that will play into all of next year's stuff. When Congress and the White House have the same party controlling them, at least in recent years, there's been an attempt to do budget reconciliation. There's a lot to be said about that. We'll say it another time. But for right now, it is a narrow tool to get a simple majority pathway in the Senate instead of the normal 60 votes out of 100 that normal legislation requires. So there's already talk about moving very quickly to the budget resolution that sets up reconciliation, and then the reconciliation bill early in 2025, maybe first 100 days. The margins are really, really narrow in the House and a little bit less so in the Senate, so that's going to be a challenge, but it looks like that's what they're going to try to do. That could include a debt limit deal, or at least raising the debt limit, but that might end up being a separate bipartisan deal. Perhaps it would be heavy on budget process reform, achievable savings. There is a long history of using the debt limit for both process and substantive reforms. We'll see how that plays out. And of course, how the DOGE influences that, the Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE. It's really a commission, it's not really a department, but in any case, that thing will be out there doing its thing. And then what will happen with appropriations at the end of next year? I mean, it could be an omnibus appropriations bill. Speaker Johnson says he doesn't want to do that. We'll see how that all plays out. What gets carried on that? Will some of the recommendations of the DOGE Will parts of the debt limit deal be on that? Or maybe would things that are agreed to as part of the debt limit deal but then take some time to flesh out, would those be carried at the end of the year spending packages? We will find out. It's complicated, there's a lot of moving pieces, but that is the 2025 fiscal cliff. You've got appropriations, you've got the debt limit, you've got extending tax cuts, and you've got healthcare, plus everything else that could be necessary to make all that fit together. Stay tuned, it'll be fun, might be scary, but we'll get through it. All right, until next time.